You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
We need to be kinder to ourselves, and we need to say, okay, I can't fix everything today, but I can fix and get where I want to be eventually. So, maybe I can't eat as healthy as I want to today, but I'm going to take the small blocks. I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to be 1% better every single day. And that's going to help me get to my overall goal. And I think once you're kind to yourself and you break down things into small steps and don't put that pressure on yourself to do everything on day one, then you're going to be so much more successful.
You're listening to the Plant-Based Diet Podcast, where we talk about all things plant-based. I'm Esther Garfin, the host of this show and founder of Alternative Food Network. Join me and my amazing array of guests who are a mix of healthcare professionals, industry executives, and people with an interesting story to tell about their plant-based journey. Let us help you with your journey wherever you're at to learn the what, why, and how to eat plant-based. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful summer. I managed to take a week break and go to the Azores, which was amazing. On the food front, I wanted to tell you I tried such a cool recipe there. It was a pineapple coconut gazpacho. It was so flavorful. I don't know that I can replicate it, but if you try, it's such interesting flavors put together. Let me know how it tastes if you try it. And now we are back to our fall episodes, and today I'm chatting with Emmanuelle Bonham, who has quite the Instagram following. She is the founder of Kind Luxury, and it's her belief that true luxury is living beautifully and consciously, embracing health, ethics, and elegance without compromise. This is actually a two-parter because in addition to our interview, Emmanuelle is also preparing a recipe for healthy energy balls, which will be available in 1 week, both as an audio episode, or you can watch the recipe video on Alternative Food Network's YouTube channel. And just a gentle reminder to please subscribe to the Alternative Food Network YouTube channel. You'll get notified every time we upload a new video there. And of course, I would appreciate it. And now I'd like to welcome Emmanuelle to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here, and I cannot wait for us to discuss all things plant-based and health and food.
And for the listeners, just so you know, we are recording this in the middle of the summer. Emmanuelle is from England, right? But currently lives in Dubai. And I need to ask you, how hot is it there right now?
It is, okay, so it's 6 p.m., so it's cooled down a little bit. But earlier in the day, 46, 47 degrees Celsius. So a little toasty. And it's that time of year where it gets super humid. You go outside and your glasses or your phone just instantly steams up. It's crazy.
Your phone steams up?
Like phone, and instantly your screen steams up.
Wow. So do you spend time outdoors at all during the day?
Unless I'm traveling, if I'm in Dubai, absolutely not. You can't. It's so unpleasant. Dubai is built in a way where you go from places car to car. So, everything is designed. It's not like you have high streets or walking paths from one place of the city to the other. You go in your car for everything because half of the year at least is too hot to be outside. So they've done a really good job designing it so you can still live, but I do try to get away in summer just because I miss being outside and I need it so much.
Wow. And then what about in the evening? Can you go out in the evening?
You can physically go out. It depends. If it's not humid, you're fine. Like you can I have to walk my dogs every day. We manage, but the humid evenings are the tough ones because it's really no break from the day. It's hot in the day and then it's humid and sticky in the evenings, and it's tough for a good 4 months of the year, but we get through.
Oh my gosh, my dog could never live there. She could never make it. She's a Bernedoodle. She has she runs hot, let's just say. Anyways, so in my introduction, I said that you founded Kind Luxury. So I wanted to understand a little bit more. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, I would love to. So, Kind Luxury is a concept that came actually from living in Dubai and through my years of being a fitness coach and a nutrition coach. And to me, Kind Luxury is double-sided. It means living well and enjoying the nice things in life, the finer things in life, luxuries and whatever that means to you. But it also means living compassionately, because I believe that true luxury is not about excess. It's not about opulence. It's not about greed. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy those things. I think, each of us has our vices and we love things that we love, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my belief is that shouldn't come at the expense of someone else. It shouldn't harm someone else. For you to have a luxurious life, that shouldn't harm anyone else. Now, the other side of Kind Luxury is about taking that one step further and saying, okay, now that I know that, luxury isn't, if I have to harm someone to get it, it's not really luxurious. It then challenges you to think, well, what are the luxuries in life? Is luxury really being connected? Is it being connected to the people that you love? Is it being connected to the earth? Is it being connected to animals? Is it giving more than you take? And, us humans, we're funny bunches, but I believe that nothing can really replace the feeling of doing something for someone or something that cannot give you something in return. Humans, we love to do good things. We really do. And I feel like our society doesn't highlight this and doesn't push this as much as it should. It pushes, the material things and the grind and the drive for more and more and more. But the real luxury, in my perspective, is connecting and finding deeper purpose and finding fulfillment. And you know what? I saw this a lot when I was doing a lot of fitness coaching. You can really be so disconnected from your body and not get the goals that you want to achieve and not be making the changes that you want, because it's almost like you're outside of your body. And I feel like some of us, I definitely did need a full 180 to really look at intrinsically what's going on in our bodies and what's going on in our lives, and saying, we really need to connect more. We need to connect to our bodies. We're so overly stressed. We're so, worked to the bone, and we're chasing things that aren't important. So the concept of Kind Luxury is, sure, defining what luxury means to you, but making sure that you're not harming to get that luxury. And it's also about assessing what really is luxury. Is it really that designer handbag? Or is it living a life of purpose and fulfillment and alignment and love and compassion? And that's definitely the journey that I've been on, is finding out the latter, is that luxury isn't about the latest handbag or the nicest watch. It's about being of service, and it's such a rewarding experience. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you've redefined for yourself what luxury is.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not here to tell anyone their definition of luxury. And don't get me wrong, I live in Dubai and I still love, nice things. I love jewelry. I'm a girl. I love pretty things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's about, how far are you willing to go? What does luxury mean? Does it mean you're happy for something to suffer, or you're happy to kill something or whatever to get what you want? Or where do you draw the line? Is it time that maybe you kind of, from time to time reassessed what luxury looks like, rather than just following someone else's definition? And that's definitely what I did. Living in Dubai, I got told all the time what luxury is, what I should be aiming for, what I should be able to buy, blah, blah, blah. And And through that, I realized that it actually wasn't what I was getting that I was craving, which was the connection, which was the nature, which was the helping, and as I said before, being of service.
So was it when you were living in Dubai that, like, was there a certain moment when you realized that your values weren't aligning with the traditional definition of what luxury is?
Yeah, I think, for me, it was a process. I went plant-based in 2016. So what is that? 9 years ago now. And in the beginning, I was extremely focused on the food because that's often the hardest part to conquer is the food, figuring out what am I going to eat? Like you got to get past that first because that's all about survival. And then as time goes on and you learn about industries and health and what people are trying to sell you and big pharma and all these things, you start to ask questions and you start to expand on your knowledge and you start to build on this lifestyle. So a lot of people are vegan and they eat vegan food and that's it. It stops there. And that's absolutely, fine. You're doing an amazing job and we need people like you. But I got curious and I kind of was like, okay, this extends further than food. This extends more into, cosmetics. This extends it into clothes, leather, shoes, bags, whatever. I don't necessarily remember a point at which I thought, this isn't luxury, but I do remember feeling like there's not something quite right here. Like I'm being sold something that I don't necessarily fully agree with. I think I need to think for myself. I think I need to find out things for myself. And it's just a natural progression of undoing what people are telling you and just figuring out for yourself what's important to you, how you want to live your life and how you want to have, what kind of lifestyle you want to have.
So was the beginning of that process, it started with plant-based eating?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That was the catalyst. I was on holiday with my parents in Spain, and I saw something online that I didn't want to see, and that was definitely the catalyst to thinking about my lifestyle, my choices, my health. Am I just following a system that everyone is expected or naturally follows, or is there a way that I could do it better? Could I live healthier? Could I eat better? Could I look after myself better? And I was already in nutrition and fitness at this point. So I was thinking, well, how can I teach my clients to be healthier? Is there another way? And there's always different ways of doing things. So yeah, I think it started with food and it's still very much about the food. Food is obviously integral, we need it. But it became so much more than that. And it became much more about a lifestyle as well as the importance of food.
On the food side of things, what's the biggest roadblock that you found clients would tell you? I can't do this because...
It's the same everywhere, but in Dubai, we have an extreme hustle mentality. The vast majority, I think it's like 85 to 90% of people that live in Dubai or the UAE are expats. So everyone comes to work. Everyone has a very, transient mindset. I'll be here for X amount of years and then I go back to my home country. So for a lot of people, most people, time is the biggest blocker, time and habits. And I had this conversation a lot with my clients, is that people want to go from 0 to 100. It's the same when someone wants to try plant-based or cutting out meat or whatever. Someone sees a documentary like, I don't know, Cowspiracy, what the health, whatever. And they're like, right, that's it. I'm done. I'm not eating animal products ever again. Like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And for most people, it's really hard to change your habits overnight. It's extremely hard. You might do it for a day or two, but then the human brain kicks in, habits kick in, and you go back to your old ways. So in answer to your question, what are the blocks? It's mainly habits and time. And I think that we need to be kinder to ourselves and we need to say, okay, I can't fix everything today, but I can fix and get where I want to be eventually. So, maybe I can't eat as healthy as I want to today, but I'm going to take the small blocks. I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to be 1% better every single day. And that's going to help me get to my overall goal. And I think once you're kind to yourself and you break down things into small steps and don't put that pressure on yourself to do everything on day one, then you're going to be so much more successful because your brain is going to have time to adapt. Your body is going to have time to adapt. And that's really how we see sustainable results.
And on the time front, for the listeners, just so you know, Emmanuelle is going to be going into the kitchen, and she is going to be making a great grab and go snack that takes, like 5 minutes to prepare. They're energy balls, and it will be available in a week's time, as I mentioned in the intro. But just to address what you were just saying, that one barrier or roadblock to people starting or implementing a plant-based diet is time. It comes up all the time in our other episodes as well. And so these energy balls, they're so easy to make. And when you're in a rush, you literally grab and go and eat them, and it fills you up. So I'm super excited that you're going to be going into the kitchen for us. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, let's not kid ourselves. We're all very busy and we just want sometimes the easiest option available, but we also want, we're in our healthy era. We want to be healthy. We care about our wellness. And sometimes we might not have the most gourmet thing, but as long as it's healthy, as long as it's nourishing, as long as it's tasty, there are so many things you can eat and so many things you can prep that are 5-10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge blocker to success time. You can really trim it down and still be healthy and eat delicious food.
I just wanted to ask you, this was actually someone I work with asked me this question. I said, I will ask Emmanuelle for you. If someone is interested, not just in the food, but including the food aspect and plant-based eating, but also some of the other things you were talking about kind luxury. The person I work with was asking me, how do you identify brands that fit within that thinking, like, cruelty-free or ethically sourced? I mean, will the packaging always tell you, or is there misleading packaging? Like, how do you identify brands that you're comfortable eating, using, etc.?
In this day and age, being green, being environmentally friendly, being vegan got very trendy, and marketers realized this and they jumped on it. So, in order to make more money, they pull at people's heartstrings, and people, they know that people don't have time to look up all the ingredients on a website of what's in the skincare, or they know that they're not going to go research X, Y, Z. So marketing can be very misleading, and we can get a bit muddled as to what is actually ethical and what is cruelty-free. And there's a lot of different topics. There is a product that is cruelty-free. There is a product that is vegan. There is a product that is ethical, but it doesn't mean they're all each other. So you can be vegan. You can have, say, for example, a vegan cosmetics brand can be vegan, but it might not be cruelty-free and it might not be ethical, because cruelty-free is about testing on animals and whether they test on animals. Vegan is about what's in the ingredients. So does it come from animal-derived sources? And being ethical expands into fair labor. Does it hold up to environmental standards? And also all the other things about, does it hurt others in the process? Does it test on animals? So we really have to read between the lines. And manufacturers, I believe, deliberately, some manufacturers, that's not fair, some manufacturers do make it a little bit challenging, and they also want to jump on the bandwagon of being, vegan, cruelty-free and everything. But it's really important that you understand the key terms in terms of the differences between vegan, cruelty-free and ethical companies. And we're getting better and we're getting clearer in the sense that it can be a little bit easier now with certifications. So for example, you've got Leaping Bunny, you've got Peter's Beauty Without Bunnies, you've got Choose Cruelty Free, which I think is an Australian certification, you've got the UK's Vegan Society, Certified Vegan, and depending on what you're looking for, it's important that you look out for these certifications because you can't lie about these certifications. So if you're looking for example, for me, I would be looking for something cruelty-free, vegan, and ethical. So it has to tick all the boxes. So I'm looking for something that's not tested on animals, there's no animal-derived ingredients, and it also includes fair labor and doesn't harm the environment. So you might have to look for 3 individual certifications on that product that you're buying. So it can be a little bit of a manhunt. Luckily, there are some tools that can help you, that you can search and figure out what these brands are. It's a blessing in disguise because at this day and age, we're not quite at that point yet where everything is ethical and cruelty free. We're still responding to consumer demand, which is slowly growing. So you do have to do a bit of the legwork yourself. For example, you might need to research, what if you like a bag and you think, oh, it might be leather, but it might be non-leather. You might have to go away and research, what's this bag actually made of? Cosmetics is a little bit clearer just because it's such an established industry now in terms of the cruelty-free aspect. But there are things like shoes, and it can be difficult to understand. And sometimes jewelry items can be difficult. Sometimes it can be, you can buy something and think that it's pearl and it ends up being ivory. So it's a little challenging, but as I said, it's a blessing in disguise, because while it's a bit more work, you end up learning so much about the industries and what you're trying to avoid, and you can educate people, and then you learn about the environment, and then you learn about where it came from and harmful labor practices, and it just makes you so much more aware and educated as a shopper, which is so important, because I really believe on so many aspects we need to take our power back and we need to know where our dollar's going. And yeah, it's work, but once you kind of get the hang for it and know what you're looking for in terms of certification, materials, it becomes easier. But it's a work in progress for sure.
You mentioned there are some tools. Is there an app that you use, or is there a website that you go to sometimes, just for our listeners to maybe make it a bit easier for them?
So if I'm shopping, I tend to go straight to the certifications, because I know that there's no beating about the bush. I know that if something's got a vegan certification or a vegan society certification, it ticks all my boxes. If it's got a leaping bunny or a PETA certification, it ticks all my boxes. So usually when I'm shopping, say for example for cosmetics, some of my, and you'll see a pattern. So usually the clean brands will, the ones that, advertise that they're clean and low tox, chemical free, etc. They'll usually follow, not guaranteed, they'll usually be more ethical and more not test on animals and be vegan. So there tends to be a pattern. So what I often do is I use tools like EWG Verified, which has a big database of a huge database of many cosmetics, many household products, pet things. And you can go in these products. There's another one as well called Think Dirty. And also you can see from the packaging as well if it has those certifications. But I'd always look at your products that you love and use and see, does this have the certification? Because most of the time companies will jump on the certifications because it just helps them get to the right consumers. If it doesn't have certifications, then you might need to do a little bit more digging. So you have to figure out, how far am I willing to go? Am I willing to support a company that is half cruelty-free and half vegan? Or am I not going to support them at all? And that's up to you to make that decision, because it's the same as going to McDonald's and ordering a veggie burger. You're still getting the option, but you're supporting a brand that obviously still sells meat, still sells that. So, and this is why there's no right or wrong answer, is that you just have to do the best you can. You have to eat the healthiest you can. You have to support where you can and make the right choices to the best of your ability. It's not about being perfect.
If someone wants to hear more from you and see what else you're up to, where can they find you?
I would love for your listeners to come and say hi. I love meeting new friends, and I'm so for finding people who share the same interests and on the same moral compass. I love that. And even someone who just needs help maybe with their health, or figuring out where to get protein or where to find healthy plant-based foods, you can always come chat with me and come say hi. I'm on Instagram. Actually, all my handles are the same. I'm very easy to find. So I'm on Instagram as Emmanuelle Bonham. I'm on TikTok as Emmanuelle Bonham. I'm on YouTube as well as Emmanuelle Bonham. And come say hi, and I'd love to meet you.
Well, this has been such a pleasure. It was so nice to meet you. I believe you reached out to us in the beginning, as I recall, right? So I'm so happy you did, and that this ended up working out and we got to do this interview. It really has been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'd been following the podcast for a while, and there's a lot of different aspects of plant-based eating. And I love that you were focusing on the health aspect because it's so important. And, we have to look after ourselves. If we're going to do good for the planet and the animals, we have to fuel ourselves properly, look after ourselves. Otherwise, we can't show up for others. So I loved listening to the podcast. I love hearing all about, your tips and your tricks and from the health perspective. And I was like, oh, we should have a chat. Great. We managed to make some healthy energy balls in the process.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to try those. We get a lot of requests for people wanting to be on the show. And thank you to anyone who might have contacted us. We just can't produce an episode with everybody, but I am super glad that this one worked out. So again, thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for having me, and keep up the incredible work. You're helping people live super healthy and educated lives. So amazing job.
Thank you. I hope you found this episode helpful. Please share, rate, leave a review, and follow Plant-Based Diet on your favorite podcast listening platform and on the Alternative Food Network YouTube channel, where you can also find recipe videos. If you're on social media, please follow us on Instagram at Alternative Food Network. We also publish a monthly newsletter that includes plant-based recipes, our latest podcasts, and the occasional giveaway. You can sign up by going on our website at alternativefoodnetwork.com and click the newsletter sign up button. Until next time, thanks for listening. All content provided or opinions expressed in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek advice from your doctor or other qualified healthcare practitioner.